Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, kindly hit that subscribe button down below to join us, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my content. I appreciate that love so much. Guys, in today's video, as promised, I believe I told you guys that I was going to do like how much it costed me to set up this business, to open a shop in Nairobi town, because I've been receiving a few questions of how much, you know, just an estimate of how much someone needs if they want maybe to open a shop. And this, I feel like it applies to so many towns and so many locations. If you want to open a physical location, I feel like this video covers majority of what you need and how much you are going to need. At the end of it all, we are going to do the math and see how much it actually costed me to open this business and for it to be operational. But before we even get to there, I know that I'm doing this video for people that want to open their physical locations, but before we get there, you can start your small business or your online business. You can just take a shelf, rent a shelf for that business, so that at least you can, you know, try out and see if that location works for you. Especially if you want to open a shop in Nairobi, maybe try first renting even a shelf and see if you have, you know, the clientele. It's like testing out the waters. And we do have shelves, as I have been saying. I do have shelves ranging from 1,000 Kenyan shillings to 2,000 Kenyan shillings. We do have storage spaces if you need that. I'll be placing videos here. The shelves are quite big, like the ones you can see behind me here. There are others on this side and others on this side. I'm going to put a video here. So if you're a small business owner, make sure that you at least, especially if you have clientele in Nairobi, or you're doing business in Nairobi, or you're away from Nairobi but you do have clientele like all over the country, and you need to be parceling some things, you need to rent a shelf, because a shelf is going to help you, you know, run that business effortlessly. Especially if that business is a side hustle, you don't have to be there at the physical location, because when you rent a shelf, we do all that for you. If we have walk-in clients, we can be able to sell for you. If there's something that needs to be parceled, we can do that on your behalf, and so many other services that comes with renting a shelf. Yeah, so I needed to put that out there so that you don't feel like this video is not for you if you're not, you know, about to open a shop, or if you feel like you're not at a point of opening a shop yet, you can just rent a shelf. So let's get straight into the video.
These days, I don't really care for all that empty conversation. No. These days, I don't care for competition. You're the one that's racing. No.
So I will be covering like five major things that costed money, and 5 major things that you need to have when you want to start a business, or when you want to open a physical shop, especially in Nairobi. And these are the things that I personally took into consideration. And this is actually how much it costed me to open my new shop here in town. This is actually how much it costed me to open a new shop here in town. The first thing was rent for the shop that you want. And as I said, this applies to so many towns. So I knew I had a budget for how much I wanted my shop to cost, because, you know, there are different rents, and for different spaces, even different buildings have different rents. And I apologize for the noise. It's just because I'm at the shop and people are making noise out here. Yeah, so the first thing was rent. So I knew I had a budget, I had a limit. You have to have at least a limit, or, you know, something. You have to have an idea of how much you want your rent to be costing, so that you can be able to, you know, afford that rent and be able to pay your other bills that will come with opening a shop. So I knew I didn't want something that went over 15,000 Kenyan shillings, because I knew that was my limit. So I was looking into getting a shop that was going from 5,000 Kenyan shillings if possible, because I know that's very hard to find in Nairobi. I believe you can get houses, you can get shops in Nairobi from as low as 7,000 Kenyan shillings per month. So my rent range was from 7,000 Kenyan shillings to 15,000 Kenyan shillings, and I was lucky enough to get something that I liked and that was in that rent range. So that was the first thing. And also you have to have this in mind. Even if I'm saying like the rent is, let's say, even 10,000 Kenyan shillings, even if the rent is 10,000 Kenyan shillings, you will have to pay maybe 2 months rent and a service charge. So you have to triple that amount of rent. You must have that amount. It's either that person is going to tell you have to pay 2 deposits, or you have to pay 1 month rent and 1 month deposit and a service charge of the same amount, or it can be 1 month's rent and 2 months deposit, something like that. So you have to triple that amount. So if your shop is going for 10,000 Kenyan shillings, you will have to have at least 30,000 Kenyan shillings for the rent. Okay, I hope now you have understood that, and I believe this applies to majority of the shops here in town, especially because I had another shop that is not here in town, and that place I only had to pay like 1 month's rent and 1 month's deposit. So I believe this applies especially to many shops in town, because I did do my shop hunting, and that's what I was hearing from majority of the buildings. They wanted maybe like you have to triple that amount. You have to triple it. If it's 10,000, you have to pay 30,000. If it's 12,000, you will have to pay 12,000 times 3. So have that in mind when you're when you're budgeting. And this light is going off. Let me charge it. The second thing, now that I have got the shop and I have paid the rent and everything, the second thing was to renovate this shop, because you just find the shop like empty, no shelves, there was nothing like this. It was just an empty hollow space that you have to renovate into what you want it to be. So let's say maybe you want to do the same thing I have done. You want to put shelves, you want to put hooks or something. That is something else that actually I was not prepared for that. Actually, I didn't think it would cost as much as it costed. I don't know, I believe it's the materials that were a bit expensive, because the labor was around 10,000 Kenyan shillings, but the materials, you guys, you have to consider that if you want to put shelves, these MDFs are these ones. These MDFs cost quite they are quite pricey, and that is something that I had not considered, that had not occurred to me that it was going to be that much. I knew maybe the shop renovation and everything would cost around, let's say, 15,000 Kenyan shillings to 20,000 Kenyan shillings, and to my surprise, it costed double that amount actually. Because I remember us doing the math here even before buying anything. When we just got the shop, now we were here in this hollow space. We were here with the fundi, or the person that we wanted for him to renovate our shop, and we were doing the math and writing down the calculations, you guys, and I almost I almost thought maybe he was even overpricing me, but the materials are quite pricey, and that was even prices that are for almost wholesale, because he is someone that does that kind of job here in town especially, and he knew the places to get these materials at a cheaper rate. But that cheaper rate is actually so expensive to me, because that's not what I was expecting. As I said, the amount that I was expecting, that all that work, the renovation and everything to cost, like it costed double that amount. So it costed more than 40,000 Kenyan shillings, you guys. I'm telling you. And there are even other things that I wanted to do and I could not even do, but the shop turned out so great. I'm going to do a shop tour later on, maybe on another video, so that you can see what I mean. Like, I do have a mirror, I do have all these shelves, but it costed like double the amount I thought it was going to cost. So consider that also. And on that note, let me tell you guys, this is a tip that I'm telling you. If you want to get a shop in Nairobi and you want it to be renovated, you have to get a fundi or the plumber. Are they called the plumber or something? You have to get someone that at least works in Nairobi or has been doing these kinds of work here in town, because if you get just anyone from outside there and then they don't even have a license, they don't know how to handle this city county, are they called city county, city council, and they don't get the license, you're going to have trouble and you're going to have to pay money. So opt for someone that has been working in Nairobi and knows how to handle this, guys, because yes, there is a license. You must have like they must have, the ones that the people that are, you know, renovating must have that license. So make sure that you ask your fundi if they have the license or they know how to handle that situation, so that you don't find yourself in problems and you will have, you know, it costs you more money than you expected. So make sure you have that. That's a tip that I wanted to tell you guys, and that happens in these towns and cities, because when I was renovating at home, I have been renovating and doing all these things, and there is nothing like that. That's not like a problem really, but here in town, that's a problem, and that's a thing that needs to be handled by someone who has been doing it. Okay, yeah, so that was the second thing. And now that we have renovated our shop, at least now it looks like a shop, you know, the next step was getting the stock, or having the stock, you know, just moving in. If you're maybe moving from, you know, a different location, you already have this stock, and that's not a cost on you. But we are talking about maybe like someone like me who didn't, you know, have much stock. I did have a few bags, I'll admit that. And another thing that actually saved me is that I had more stock on the way. I had ordered more stock like almost a month before, so I knew my stock was about to get here when I was renovating and getting the shop. So stock is another thing that you need to put in mind. You don't want to, you know, get a shop and you don't have anything to sell. At least have something. I'm not telling you to have like so much stock, or, you know, to invest so much into stock. But if you are in a position to do that, do that. Because I can tell you for a fact, I didn't have that much stock, and I still don't have like, you know, full shelves of and loads of stock. But at least have something to be selling. At least have, you know, even if it's not so much, have not less than 50,000 Kenyan shillings set aside for stock. And this depends on what it is that you want to be selling, or what service it is that you want to be offering. That depends with that. For me, I'm saying if it's for bags, at least have 50,000 Kenyan shillings worth of stock, not less than 50,000 Kenyan shillings. If you're getting a shop and you want it to have something, you know, yeah, at least have 50,000 Kenyan shillings. And that does not mean that 50,000 is the limit. No, you can go as high as 100,000, 200,000, depending on how much you have, or depending on, you know, uwezo wako inaitwa aje, this light, depending also on what it is that you want to deal with and how much it costs, because there are other things that don't cost that much and you only need like 30,000 Kenyan shillings worth of stock. There are other things that cost quite much and you will need more than 100,000 Kenyan shillings worth of stock. But my estimate, I feel like 50,000 Kenyan shillings worth of stock, if it's things like these bags and shoes, things like those, clothes, 50,000 Kenyan shillings is a lot of money, and it's a good start, I can say that, because you don't also want to invest so much into one thing or into starting this business and you don't know how it's going to be like. You know, you have to test the waters, you guys. You have to test the waters and be willing to be flexible. If this one thing doesn't work for you, as I always say, you can leave that one thing and go move to the next thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, now that we have our stock, we have renovated the shop, we have our stock. The next thing although this is something that can even come before the stock and everything, can come before actually the stock, is getting a permit, a license. Especially if you're in Nairobi, you don't want to be going up and down, back and forth with the city council, because they do visit your shop like almost on a daily basis, and you're going to be wasting a lot of time. One, if you're going to be, you know, hiding and closing down because they are coming, and you're also going to be wasting money, because if they get you and you don't have the permit, that's going to cost you money. So make sure that you set aside like the 5,200 for getting your permit. If it's a small shop, if it's a very big shop, I believe the amount is different. That's something that you just go to a cyber, especially here in town. They do know how to go about it. You go to that cyber and you tell them what you want. I want to get a permit, and what you need to have is maybe your ID. If you know the ID, you know, offhand, you don't have to carry the ID itself, but you need that. And you do also need you need to know the plot number or the building, so that they can be able, because that's something that is put on that permit. So you need to know the plot number, the shop number, those things. So you just go to the cyber and you tell them, this is what I want. So they are going to generate, they are going to feed in the system all those details that they are going to ask for. So they feed it in and then they submit, and then these city council guys are able to approve your, what is it called, your application. They will approve it. If it's, you know, okay, they are going to approve it, and then you'll be able to pay. It's just something that is automatic. You just pay. You pay online, you pay probably via M-Pesa. You can pay via M-Pesa. So you just pay that 5,200. 5,000 is for the permit, and 200 is they say the application fee or something like that. So the total is 5,200. That's something that you need to have in mind and have the budget for getting a permit, just because it lasts for 1 year, 1 year, 1 whole year. If like mine, I took it in October, so it's going to go up all the way up to October next year. That's 1 year, and I have only paid 5,200. That's also something that you should have a budget for, especially if you're starting this thing in town. Even in those other places, I believe it's the same, but I'm just talking about Nairobi and town because I have seen it. I have seen how they come, and sometimes they're even so rough. You guys have seen the stories, and to just avoid that, just pay that 5,200 bob, so that you can be running your business with no worries and no disturbances, right? Yeah. So the last thing, so now that we have done all that, I feel like that's everything that you need. That's like the most important things that you need to have when you want to open a shop, and that's everything. That's how much it has costed me so far to open this new business, new shop in town. And doing the math with the numbers that I have given you guys, I feel like you can know exactly how much you need to start that business. Because if it's stock, as I said, from 50,000, if it's rent, I said you triple the amount. If it's 10,000, you're going to pay 30,000. That can be for 2 months, or for 2 months deposit. It can be service charge, whatever that building says. So just triple that amount. You can even pay up to 5 times if you're in a position to do that. I'm just saying, like, the minimum I have seen is you're tripling the amount that shop costs. Although the rest of the months you're just going to be paying, you know, the rent per month. You don't have to triple or double, that's up to you, but the first month you have to triple that amount. So going with those numbers that I have told you, even the permit is 5,200 for just a small shop like mine, 5,200. So I feel like doing the math, that's around 150,000 Kenyan shillings, and you're good to go. Like, that's the amount. Like, if you have that amount, you can be able to open a shop, especially here in town. In other places it might be even cheaper or more expensive, As I said, depending, I'm just giving the numbers that I feel like are the numbers that worked for me, are the amount that I have paid so far, and that's why I'm saying 150. With 150,000 you're good to go. That's the start. Now the other months that are going to come, they are going to have expenses, obviously, so that's something else that maybe I can be talking about as we progress, because I can't talk about something that I have not experienced so far. So those are the numbers, guys. 150,000 Kenyan shillings. What do you guys think? So because I know there are other people that have opened shops, probably even in town or in other places. Are the numbers right? Are the numbers the same? Do you feel like it's too high, or it's too low, or it's manageable? What do you guys think? Because when you think about the total amount, it can feel like it's so much money, but it's actually not so much money, because as I said, that's just the stock, and just to make the business operational, you need to have at least 150,000 Kenyan shillings. So if you want to start a business, at least have that. If you want to open a shop, a physical shop, as I said, here in Nairobi, as I have done, the amount I feel like you should have. Yeah, guys, so as I said, if you're not in a position, maybe, or you don't have that much money, at 1,000 bob, at 2,000 bob, or at 1,500 bob, you can be able to rent a shelf and test the waters, and be also able to run your side hustle by renting a shelf and storing your items here, so that you can be able to tell your clients, by the way, you have a physical location now, you can get this item here, you can go fit your item here. So that's like 1,500 per month, and there are shelves going for 1,000 per month, and others going for 2,000 per month. If you need storage, we do have storage spaces also, so you can just contact me and we can arrange. You can come to the shop, be able to pick a shelf that you feel works better for you. Yeah, and we can do business together as you prepare to open your shop like I did. Okay, that's it, guys, for this video. Let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Peace.